thrilled to be back in this thing again, and we're kind of making it an annual event, which is what you want your program to be doing. We will head to Buffalo. I told the guys, I said, you know, the Princeton offense is all through college basketball and the NBA. I said, now you finally get to guard the Princeton offense run by Princeton. You know, but I said, you're also the best defensive team I had, and they got to guard us. So again, we're thrilled. I erase seed lines, all that stuff. We erase all that. We got our little mini bracket, as we've talked about before, down there with West Virginia and Bucknell. You can tell I'm focused on Princeton. West Virginia. I'm definitely. We are hanging on for dear life. We need some rest. But we're thrilled to be in it, thrilled to be back part of it, and hopefully it can go through San Jose.
Mike, what's that feeling like knowing you're in as opposed to, you know, wondering?
Well, Anj, it's awesome because we knew for a month. You know, I remember we won at NC State, and I think that was our 10th league win. I walked outside, it was 70 degrees. Sunday was going to be an off day. It was 60 here. I said, man, we're a lock, and it feels pretty good. So to not sweat on Selection Sunday, which we haven't in a long, long time, is good for the blood pressure and the hairline.
Mike, the tank's got to be pretty empty after Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? How do you fill it back? What's the process of filling it back up again by Thursday?
Yeah, you know, we have had tough stretches during the regular season now, and I think we have a pretty good recovery plan. We will not do much tomorrow physically at all. And Tuesday may be, you know, really, really light as well. I mean, you're past real physical practices. We really do need to get some rest. We got a couple guys nicked up a little bit. Bonds with a sore ankle. He'll be fine, but we got to be careful with that. Torres with a little bit of a sprain on the hand that he played with last night, and he'll also be fine. So that's my biggest thing is rest and recovery. I'm really glad it's spring break, and these guys don't have academic demands this week. They can sleep, everything's ratcheted down, it's quiet around here, so that comes at a good time for us to get our energy back.
What about the emotional part of it?
Yeah, I think we're spent still. You know, I saw our reaction. You know, I was in the office watching it. I went in there. I was too exhausted to go up into the crowd. I only had enough energy for you guys tonight. But I saw our reaction was not one of disappointed in a seat. It was like, because that's how we feel right now. So I'd say by Tuesday we'll be bouncing around pretty good.
Mike, did you play some teams earlier in the year that run some?
Yeah, we did, and I can't remember right now. I got Rod Balanis will have Princeton. Obviously, Ayers will have Bucknell because he knows them pretty good, and Humphrey will have West Virginia. We have, and you know, it's that cutting move. We even do some of it. You know, we play. You know, we play a little bit. We get some elbow hits and cuts, and obviously against Georgetown, we would have the Georgetown breakdown drills the week before. We would even do them back in October. So we have like a book on stuff, and we'll go back to that and get some reps in that this week.
So what are a couple of the main principles?
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of touches. They like to enter everything at that elbow. And, you know, you're guarding spacing, but of course we guard spacing every day when we guard ourselves. You're guarding shooting on the perimeter. We guard shooting every day because that's who we have. That's our personnel. Back cutting, you know, they're famous for a lot of back cutting. Well, we cut a lot, so we guard cutting. We're Princeton-ish without the predictable movement. Right. Ours is free-flowing, but it's Princeton-ish philosophy as far as spacing and cutting.
And then using the whole shot clock?
Yeah, they'll grind you. They'll play a little slower and grind you, no question. Of course, we just played Virginia, so we know how to do that dance.
How much easier, not necessarily easier, but more thorough can the preparation be because you're so much further along defensively as opposed to other years where if you weren't that good defensively, you'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you know, our defensive intelligence can really help us against a group like this, and it has all year when we've, you know, even in our non-league stuff, we've been able to digest the scouting report and an opponent's tendencies offensively. And our main guys have been really good at talking through it, switching it when we've had to, and so I feel we can we can prepare well for this. And they have a little pride about sitting down and defending people.
Mike, I imagine you've seen Devin Kennedy play a time or two
I
over
have.
the years.
No, he's around our building all the time. He's in the midst of a great career. I love him. Heck of a young player, and he's in the midst of a great career, and they're winning. And of course, last year he was in the NIT. This year he gets to play in the NCAA Tournament. So I'm sure he'll be really ready for us.
Mike, does the team have a different mindset than maybe some of the earlier teams in that, early on the question people asked like tonight would be, can you win a game? Can you get to the Sweet 16? Now people are asking, can you make it to the Final 8 again? Can you go past that?
Right.
Does it give it a different mindset, do you think?
Well, I think this team, the one thing I told them last night in the locker room, they were really disappointed. You're wanting to turn the page quickly because I think we got a little better up in New York. We delivered on in bright lights and played well, even though we couldn't finish and get the championship game. We had our kind of March swagger. And I said, when that bracket shows up on Sunday night, we're the only team that's played in back-to-back Elite Eights, and that's a great advantage of ours, and I think it's a psychological advantage for this nucleus.
Following up on that too, it seemed like they were playing with a little different edge over the last few days.
Yeah.
And Bonzi was kind of the ringleader of
Yeah, no question. I think everything was up a level. I think first of all, I think we were excited to be in that building. There's no question about it. And we've had good memories and we feel good about the place. And, and then to beat Virginia, you got some confidence, you get rolling a little bit. But, no, I think this group, there's a nucleus of guys now, and they're pulling along some of the younger guys like, we kick it up a level now. And we did that for 3 games in Brooklyn, and I think we'll do it in Buffalo.
Is that why you put so much emphasis on the conference tournaments?
Yeah.
Just that getting them ready to take that next step?
Yeah, it's a chance to hang a banner. One of the neat things that we were able to talk about after the Florida State game was, fellas, we could have another banner hanging up and cutting nets down, and you're playing for a championship. And so, we look at it as kind of a separate issue, and then we deal with the next tournament, the NCAA tournament. But this group and the program has gotten to the semifinals. We're used to getting close, and now we've played in 2 out of 3 championship games. That's something they go for, and it's never a mindset, does it get you ready for the next weekend, does it wear you out? We don't even worry about that. Let's see if we can win the thing.
Your memories of playing in Buffalo?
We played in Buffalo. Ryan Humphrey was on that team, and Harold Swanigan. It was actually the getaway game right before Christmas. And Canisius, and Bob McKinnon, I fault him for scheduling that. I absorbed that. We shouldn't be, we played them there, and somebody took a big charge that saved our butt. Was it Swanigan?
I did.
Yeah, somebody took a big charge, and and we escaped. And then everybody went home for Christmas. Now, I have a lot of memories of Buffalo because my son Kyle played at UB. I spent a lot of time, as he calls it, and many Buffalonians call it, rough buff. And that Amherst Marriott, I knew the bartender the Friday night before every Buffalo game, and maybe we'll be there. Maybe you're back, Coach. You're back. You're back.
Mike, what allows this team to handle all the drama that comes with not only the ACC tournament the last couple of years, but the games, the high-level games that you've played in the NCAA tournament, where year after year it just seems like it just keeps going up and up.
When the lights have been brightest, we've been in a rhythm lately where we just love it, embrace it, deliver in it. I think it's gotten to be a little bit of the tradition of the program, where it's handed down to the younger guys and they're dragged along by the older guys that have been part of it. And, I really see that with our upperclassmen now that, it's kind of what we do. We deliver when the lights are brightest, and we did up there. It was exhausting, but a lot of fun in Brooklyn.
So was it Jaron and Pat that started, or what do you think got it going?
Yeah, that group got it going. There's no question. That nucleus got it going, and now you've got, it's the 3rd year of that kind of momentum. Yep.
Mike, what's it like for a guy like Gibbs? The rest of the guys know the confidence now, are used to doing this.
Yeah.
And then he's in that mold of being the guy that doesn't know. I mean, he knows what to expect because of his
Yeah,
brothers, but
well, I
it's
think
still different.
it's new territory for him. But all along, I think one of the reasons he's been so ready, and he's been such a key guy for us, is he's the only new guy we play. You know, everybody else has been in the program a while that plays, and they've helped him. You know, Steve, Matt, Bonzi, and VJ, they've really helped TJ, and TJ that also has a maturity that's a little different than most freshmen.
You've gotten some contributions from a lot of different guys at different times, seemingly when you needed it. How much confidence does that give you going into the tournament when it's kind of a war?
Well, I feel great about 9 guys, and you know, different guys play more minutes sometimes. You know, Matt Ryan comes off and gives us a great night against Florida State, and I was waiting for him to bang one in last night. He had a couple looks, but you know, there's 9 guys in our rotation, and you know, somebody may play longer. So, you know, TJ didn't play as much. I grabbed him on the plane. I said, look, you know, wasn't anything you weren't doing. It was we were kind of riding this group a little bit. So we're very confident in that 9-man rotation.
Do you let Gibbs know what a freshman Rex Pfluger did in the first week of the tournament?
I bet Rex will tell him. You know, he's not shy. He'll tell him what he did as a rookie.
Mike, what's the importance not only of having those 9 guys, but in the last few games, Marty's been playing better. Matt had a big game against Florida State. What's the importance of them peaking at this
Well,
time?
I like that we have some more bodies and some more options, and I give a lot of credit to both Marty and Matt Ryan because they were out of the loop, so to speak, and playing, but not playing major minutes. Marty, 2 DNPs in a row, and to have the attitude to hang in there and stay with it and come back, and when they're called on, to be ready. You got to be a pretty solid guy and mature guy to do that because it's hard when you're only getting 2 or 3 minutes. And then for Marty, he's starting and then he's a DNP. But that big body has helped us and we'll need it moving forward.
In what ways is it different for you going into this postseason versus 3 years ago?
Well, you know, we came off an ACC championship.
Right. I guess going into the postseason, though, in general, because at that point,
Yeah, oh, well, I mean, you know, now, again, you've got a group of guys, you know, our senior class, winning our juniors, right, they've got 6 NCAA tournament wins. It's a lot of wins. I don't know what the, you know, I look back at some of the guys that were great players here in the days of independence and put up great numbers. Some of them only have 1 NCAA tournament win, or 2, or losing record. You know, Zach August and Demetrius Jackson are, 6-2 in the NCAA tournament, and Beecham and Bastoria can add to that. So there's, you just can't, you gotta experience that. I can't inject them with it, you know, and that we did it now, it kind of sustains itself.
C is one of the most even-keeled guys in the country. How much does that trait help when you get to the postseason, especially the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, and you know, I thought, as you saw, he struggled a little bit at the end of the regular season. He was ready to roll in Brooklyn. You know, he kicked it up and knew what was on the line. And I believe fully that he'll be the same way in Buffalo. There's no question that his demeanor helps him and helps us.
Do you ever have to tell him to get a little emotional?
Nah, I like him like that. I like him kind of like that. And VJ's like that too. You know, Bonzi and Matty do enough of that. And we need that too.
Like, I know you've gone deep the tournament before, but just anything you learned in the past 2 years that it helps you at this time?
You know, I think keeping us loose, you know, not playing with the weight of the world on our shoulders. I think in some of my earlier years here, you know, I was really uptight. You know, it's one and done. And I don't think I helped our team sometimes and maybe had them a little uptight. So, you know, as I've gotten older and I've gotten looser with them, and we smile a little bit and we laugh and we keep them loose because they're going to play hard. This group, you know, they prepare themselves. I just don't want them tied up in knots.
Mike, is there an experience from your past that you can draw on to where, and this hasn't happened with this program since like 2011, where you were so close in the conference tournament and it's disappointing and you don't get it, and then now you have to turn right around and flush that and move forward? You
know what I told him? I said last night, I said, how about this? I said, you guys play with a pretty darn good edge, but since we couldn't win this thing, let's have that add to our edge a little bit. Maybe we're a little pissed off because we couldn't get that banner, and we talked about that on Friday night. So can we play with a little bit of edge in this? And I think they'll do that.
You
Can
mean
the
we have
5 seed be that as well for some of these guys? I know you said you want to flush it, but again, like you mentioned, 2 Elite Eights, the only ones to do that. Maybe some thought you guys would be up 3 or 4.
Yeah, well, I think when I look at it, obviously I don't think conference tournaments were probably weighed as much. It'll be interesting to ask. We, as a member of the NABC board, we meet with the committee in May, and they're very transparent. I'd be interested to ask, what was the thinking on that. But no, I mean, I never really get to, I know Rod Balanis texted me late last night, oh, Lenardi's got us at 3. I said, no way. Just relax, all right? Everybody relax.
And that same thread 9 from the ACC, is that at the end of the day what you expected?
Yeah, we were hoping we could get 10 in there. Syracuse didn't make it, and Clemson quite didn't get enough, but 9 is pretty darn good. Of course we would have had 9 last year if Louisville was eligible, but certainly speaks to the depth of the league, and hopefully the league can have as much success as it did last year.
How refreshing is it for you when you go back there to prepare? You're not preparing for Louisville or Clemson or Wake
It's great. It's unbelievable to just not see. I walked out of there last night and I said to somebody, I'm glad I don't see an ACC team next weekend. Now, if we see another ACC team, that means we're doing pretty good, and I'll deal with it then. But we do need it. We all need a break from each other because we ground each other up a bunch.
As much as Princeton is a surprise, or can be a surprise to you, how much can you be a surprise to them where they don't know much about them?
I think, again, they get to watch us a lot more than we see them on TV. But, they've got some preparation for us and how we play on the offensive end and as well. So, but it's kind of refreshing to prepare for something completely new.
Mike, I don't know how realistic it is, but if there's a guy that you think could do what VJ did last year in the tournament, who do you think that would be?
Anybody wants to step forward, they have my permission. It's hard to tell. I mean, anybody, any one of those 9 guys, the big four, but any of those other 5 guys could have an unbelievable impact and really, be a key for us to make a move.
You can find a pickup game at a Buffalo Health Club on Wednesday?
I may have to find, maybe I should play hockey up there, find the Sabres practice facility. And, even I looked athletic in that with that group.
Like you mentioned,
That's why I jumped in. They couldn't guard me.
you mentioned the Big Four. A year ago this time, you wouldn't have thought Matt would be that for. Most of us wouldn't think.
We were talking 3 back in the day, right?
So how do you think he's different now, and how is his mindset different going into this?
He is so confident right now and adds so much to our group. There's a lot on him. He's making every decision off that ball screen, and I thought he was unbelievable in Brooklyn. I mean, we earn a 5 seed because the unknown of our point guard situation. We get the double bye, we finish 3rd, and we get to the championship game and have a darn good shot of winning it because the unknown point guard became one of the best point guards in the country, and I'll say this, the NBA is really intrigued about him. There's a bunch of guys intrigued about him. He's got all of their attention.
How much do you think his NCAA tournament last year?
That's big. To be a starter in that, I mean, he certainly feels like he belongs, and again, those 4 guys, they're not looking around at the banners and stuff when we go to practice on Wednesday. They're like, let's go. We know this drill.
Could you elaborate on that? I mean, who'd you speak? You don't have to say who you spoke with.
I just think he's really intriguing. He's come out of nowhere, and that league the next level is really intrigued by him. Just from talking to different scouts and different people, and they'll thoroughly analyze him, through his senior year.
Kind of a J.J. Barrera.
It's a great comparison. That's the
small guy.
J.J. Barrera, kid from Northeastern, who I don't know who he's with now. He was with the Mavericks for a while. But, with the new rules in that league, you can't hold and grab out there, which we finally got to that in college. So him getting places on the floor, poor man Steve Nash kind of stuff, I mean, plus he shoots it. He shoots it, and he shoots it deep. He's an amazing story, he really is, but he was the most disappointed last night. It took me the longest to get his head up. He wanted that bad, man, and it's what you love about him.
Skip and Bonds are going to be joined at the ankle from now on.
Skip and Bonds, we're gonna just kind of take our time with him. We're gonna put him in a boot, just precautionary, and I don't know what, we won't maybe do anything with him till Tuesday, but by Thursday, he'll be taped, a couple Motrin, ready to roll. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
See you later.